is Amateur Radio Club Net. This radio net meets every Monday here at 8 p.m. on the 147.12 megahertz Two Rivers ARC repeater system, operating on 147.12. Membership in the Two Rivers ARC is not required to check into this net, as all radio amateurs are welcome. Like information about the Two Rivers ARC, you can write to us at P.O. Box 225, Greenall, PA, zip code 15047. We're also on the Internet's World Wide Web at https://trarc.org and on Facebook. Meeting will help the third Tuesday of every month except in December, starting at 7 p.m. at the Blainville Volunteer Fire Department Social Hall, 409 Oxford Avenue, Elizabeth, PA. For checking into emergency or priority traffic at this time. Not heard any. Anybody heard of any silent keys? Recently, not a local ham, Joe Akura, Whiskey 3 Hotel November Kilo, an old-time ham, passed away just recently. He was a QSL manager for many DX stations. He lives here in Pennsylvania. I think he was around York or Reading someplace. But he recently passed away. That's Joe Akura, A-C-U-C-U-R-E, I think, W3 Hotel November Kilo. That's the last one I heard of. All right, we'll be taking a check-in here in a moment. Please, when you check into this radio net, give us a call sign slowly and phonetically. And let me know if you have announcements or comments for the net. First of all, we're going to start off with anybody on Echolink. Echolink, call now.
Tuesday. This launch includes the following counties.
W3OC. This is Kilo Charlie 3, Zulu India.
Okay, I got Kilo Charlie 3 Zulu India X-ray on Echolink. Anybody else on Echolink? Else on Echolink.
I think we got some ducting going on at the moment, and I don't know where the systems are, but apparently we're hearing occasionally a user would be from out of area that's keying up our system. That could some of it be because of what's called ducting, as a phenomenon where radio waves get trapped through the troposphere. Okay, well, we don't worry about that too much, but we may experience a little bit. Okay, at this time I'm looking at any members of the Two Rivers Board of Directors wishing to check in.
W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango, Bob, Elizabeth Township. Evening, Chuck. Evening to the net, no traffic.
W3OC. Please recognize November 3, Juliet, Hotel Bravo, Portable out here in Pleasant Hills, along with Kilo Bravo 3 Whiskey Papa and Whiskey 3 Delta Tango Papa. Good evening to everyone on the net. No traffic. Welcome back, Chuck.
Net control. Net control, recognize Kilo 3, Charlie, Romeo, Oscar, John, Baldwin, no comments, no traffic.
Okay, from the Board of Directors, I got Kilo Bravo 3 Sugar Tango, November 3 Juliet Hotel Bravo Portable with Kilo Bravo 3 Whiskey Papa and Whiskey 3 Delta Tango Papa, also portable, and Kilo 3 Charlie Radio Oscar. Anybody else from the Board of Directors wishing to check in? Nerd. All right, now we're looking for stations that are operating mobile, portable, right out of Allegheny County.
W3
W3OC. Please welcome Alpha 3 Mike Romeo and 3MR. Name is Walt. Portable Clerton Works. Good evening to you, Chuck, and welcome back. Hope you're feeling better. Good evening to everybody on the net. No traffic.
W3OC. W3OC, please check in. Kilo Alpha 3, Yankee Golf Lima, Bruce from South Connersville. Welcome back, Chuck, and good evening to everybody on the net. No further traffic. W3OC. Here's Kilo Bravo 3, Victor Sierra Papa, Dan, Beaver County. Good evening, Chuck. Good evening to the net, and good to hear you, Chuck. W3OC. This is KA3 KEV, Dennis and Plum. Good evening, Chuck. No traffic.
W3OC. W3OC, please recognize Alpha 3 Alpha Charlie, Antonio Portable here in Pittsburgh. Good evening to you, Chuck, and everybody else on the net. No traffic.
Hey, here's what I got so far. Thank you. Thank you all for the comments. Yep, I'm just trying to get back in the swing of things after a month messing around with bronchitis. Hi. Kilo Charlie 3 Zulu X-ray on Echolink. Alpha 3 Mike Radio Portable. Kilo Alpha 3 Yankee Golf Lima. Kilo Bravo 3 Victor Sugar Papa. Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Echo Victor. And Alpha 3 Alpha Charlie Portable. Anybody else mobile portable or outside of Allegheny County? Okay, now I'm looking for stations or operating base station. It's W3OC.
W3OC, Whiskey Alpha 3 IOU, and it's always good to hear you, brother. I'm here with W3OC tonight. He's looking good.
W3OC. This is Kilo Alpha 3, Kilo Sierra Papa, Jim in Carnegie. Welcome back.
W3OC. Here is Kilo 3 Hotel India Romeo, Merle and Elizabeth Township. You're sounding good, Chuck.
W3OC. Recognize November 3 Tango Alpha Uniform. That's N3TAU Norman Fenway, Smart County. Good evening, Chuck. Hope you're feeling a lot better.
Okay, thank you. It's W3OC. Here's what I got. Whiskey America 3 Oscar Uniform. Kilo Alpha 3 Kilo Sugar Papa. Kilo 3 Hotel India Radio. And November 3 Tango Alpha United. Anybody else, please?
W3OC, this is Kilo Alpha 3 Echo Kilo Oscar 7 O'Hara. Good to hear you back on there, Chuck. I know how you feel. Had this one that was a little taut. So it's good to hear you back on, buddy.
I got Kilo Alpha 3 Echo Kilo Oscar. Thank you, Sylvie. Okay, anybody else? We'll take a stop there. I got some information on stuff to provide tonight, and I have an updated calendar feature that I just did here last week because it's been a while since I did an updated on the calendar thing that I read here on the net. Okay, let's see. Here's some of our radio club announcements. Two Rivers ARC GapNet meets every Wednesday here at 8:30 p.m. on this repeater system. Usually hosted by Steve, the HK3 Sugar Hotel Foxtrot. It's an informal net. You're welcome to join us for that. Thursday nights, the 10-meter net meets on upper sideband at 8 o'clock p.m. on 28.460 upper sideband. The host varies, and most of the time it's Gino WA3IOU hosts that. We're supposed to also have a net on Friday nights, but we haven't had that for some months, and I don't have an update on that on its function, at least not lately. The Radio Club also has a thing called the Operations Night. It's a Radio Club social activity and operations. That's held on the second Thursday of each month, starting at 7 p.m. at the Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department, Social Hall, 4312 Liberty Way in Elizabeth, PA. That's up on the Big Hill. Welcome to join us for that. We also get on the air on HF. On the nights we have the operations night, we don't have a 10-meter net, just on that particular night. Okay. We also have on the second Saturday of every month a thing called the Hams and Eggs Breakfast. That's held at the Rock Run Inn, located at Butler's Golf Course. Starts at 9:30 a.m. on Rock Run Road, Elizabeth, PA. Other activities we do during the course of the year. We do participate. We have a family in the late August. I think our next one's August the 23rd, I believe. August 23rd, that's what I was looking at. Okay. We have a Hamfest usually in the springtime and usually in early April. We do participate in some HF activities, including PAQSO party in October, the Winter Field Day in January, and of course the ARRL Field Day. That's usually out on the last full weekend of June. Fairly active with that kind of stuff, so you're welcome to join us. We also have an amateur radio exam session 4 times a year. I believe our next session is in September. It's usually on the second Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. at the McKeesport High School over there in Eden Park Boulevard, McKeesport, PA. So that's a bit a ways off from then. Okay, looking at the calendar of things coming up. Tomorrow night is the last night for claims for the Radio Club raffle ticket drawing we had in June. The raffle ticket claim period has been extended to July the 29th. It's due by 7 p.m. So if you have raffle tickets, you should check on those things, and there's instructions on the back of each raffle ticket on how to report that. That's on July 29th. August 9th is the Uniontown ARC Gap Fest at the Radio Club grounds on Old Pittsburgh Road, Uniontown, PA. We should be on the 147045 repeater. Our Radio Club picnic's on the 23rd in White Oak Park at Chestnut Grove. Usually that starts around 12 or 1 o'clock. More information on that's to be announced. On August the 24th, Skyview Radio Society Swap and Shop is at their club grounds, 2325 Turkey Ridge Road in Elizabeth, in New Kensington, PA. September 9th is the Two Rivers ARC exam team, 6:30 p.m. at the Keysport High School. September 16th is kind of a special meeting for the Radio Club. It's a regular club meeting and also election of officers. That's for the current year, for the next year, I should say. 7 p.m. Blaine Hill Volunteer Fire Department, 409 Oxford Drive, Elizabeth, PA. Okay, in October 11th and 12th is the PAQSO party. Two Rivers is scheduled for Lincoln Borough Volunteer Fire Department. Social Hall, that's on Liberty Way, Elizabeth, PA. And of course, the big contest in October is the 25th and 26th, is the CQ Worldwide DX contest, single sideband mode. In November 17th is the Two Rivers ARC Holiday QSL raffle. Selling raffle tickets for us. Contact any of the officers for that. That's a fairly good size raffle. It's based on the Pennsylvania QSO party. Okay, on the November 29th and 30th is a CQ Worldwide DX Contest CW. Also, the North Hills ARC raffle ends when the last ticket is sold. They are offering a Kenwood THD6A, I think it is, HT with extended antenna and stuff like that. That's going to be, it says, their flyer says, and when the last ticket is sold, their holiday dinner, whenever that is. That's what I kind of got. Let's see, there's all kinds of little contests and stuff that happened. I know over the weekend there was something called the Flight of the Bumblebees, which is I didn't participate in that, but that's always a fun, kind of a fun affair. I believe the Skyview fellows are operating a special event station coming up, I think early August. I don't have the dates on it. For the celebration of KDK radio broadcasting, using a special call, KD3KA, I think is a call. I guess I'll be operating that out of their club. Okay, looking at the DX calendar, looking at the DX bulletin, I should say, dated July the 24th. There's all kinds of stuff listed here, of course. It says, I think one of some interested ones is East Malaysia. That's over there in the Southeast Asia. 9 Mexico 8 Alpha from Satang Besar Island. That's an island. That's also an IOTA, which stands for Island on the Air. It's a special award for that. Offered July the 26th to August 10th. 80 through 6 meters using usual mode CW sideband FT8 and FT4. And they're going to be also operating entering the RSGBI to contest. 9 Victor 1 Sugar Alpha is going to be operational as Sugar 60 Sugar Alpha until August 9th to commemorate the 60th anniversary of Singapore's independence. Okay, there's all kinds of stuff in here. I guess the big one coming up, as far as the expeditions is concerned, in February, the Bouvet Island, the expedition is scheduled to start. A lot of people are interested in that, including this operator. They don't have an exact date, sometime in early February. So we'll have to keep you up to date on that. I think it's called 3 Yankee 0. Let's see where I got it on the calendar, I think. The call sign in February, Peter the First is 3 Yankee 0 Lima. 3 Yankee 0 Lima. So, there's been a lot of activity on the HF bands, of course, and digital modes have been very busy. Radio conditions, based on this operator's observations, have been kind of a little in the summer doldrums at the moment. That's what I call it. In the summertime, a lot of times we get, in this hemisphere, we get a lot of absorption caused by sunspots and just the fact that the Earth has tilted now, this part of the world, more towards the sun, so we get more absorption of the radio signals as compared to the fall time when the Earth tilts back a little bit more and more that, and we get enhanced radio propagation conditions. So that's a phenomenon that's been known for, I don't know, 100 years probably at least. But there's still a lot of activity, still a lot of DX on, a lot of people are operating, especially on the digital modes. FT8's been very busy from especially 17 meters on down, 18 megahertz on down. I think 40 meters the last time I listened. There's DX stuff coming through in the evenings, but also the noise levels are up quite a bit because it is summertime, and we do see increased noise levels on the lower frequencies for sure. Okay, I think that's kind of what I got. I don't think I have anything more. Okay, I'm going to take a standby. Does anybody need to repeat any name purchase W3OC? Okay, all right. That's kind of what I got, I think. With that, I'm going to flip over and see what Newsline's got tonight. I got it keyed up on the computer. It's W3OC.
Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2491 with a release date of Friday, July 25th, 2025. To follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. The FCC prepares for a spectrum auction. Ham radio carries a message in a California rescue, and a new question pool for some hams in Canada. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2491 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. And now reporting from Valparaiso, Indiana, here's Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
We begin this week in Washington, D.C., where the FCC has announced it is ready to return to auctioning off parts of the spectrum and to overhauling the country's emergency alert systems. Kent Peterson, KC0DJY, brings us up to date.
In the U.S., the Federal Communications Commission is preparing for two major initiatives: the return of auctioning spectrum licenses and a top-to-bottom assessment of the nation's emergency alert system. The FCC's ability to auction spectrum had expired, but it was restored by a bill signed by President Donald Trump on July 4th. The frequencies eyed for this auction are in the so-called AWS-3 band for Advanced Wireless Services. These are unused microwave frequencies that have been allocated for 5G commercial wireless. The auctions would be the first of their kind in the U.S. in 4 years. The FCC has also prioritized a system-wide re-evaluation of the nation's emergency communications technology. The emergency alert system makes use of radio and TV, while the wireless emergency alerts utilize mobile devices. The FCC is set to vote on moving ahead with this system-wide assessment at its August 7th meeting, with an eye toward pushing for upgraded technologies. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
If you took part in the IARU HF Championship on the second weekend of July, and you happen to work one of the 5 stations operating from the grounds of the Euston Estate in Suffolk, England, well, you are also part of the field test for the World Radio Sport Team Championship taking place next year. The 5 stations were on the air from actual site locations for an important training exercise, testing of the masts, antennas, and radios, and a little experimentation to prepare for next year's competition. Volunteers got a chance to practice setup of the equipment and give a thorough test of the scoreboard and the IT networking system. Despite some minor issues, the exercise was declared a success, right down to the report from the operators that there were no issues with the interference between stations, which were all running 100 watts. The organizers wrote on the WRTC website, quote, "Activity will be different next year. Hopefully 10 meters will be more cooperative, and the interest in chasing 50 real WRTC stations will be higher," end quote. A globally prominent telecommunications expert whose input helped the IARU shape use of the amateur spectrum has become a silent key. We hear about him from Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Global telecommunications governance was the speciality of David Court, EI3IO, who played a key part of the IARU Region 1 Executive Committee and a major force in such regional telecommunications organizations such as CEPT. David, who became a silent key earlier this month, infused his volunteer work with regulatory and technical expertise gained over the decades in his professional work in telecommunications policy and regulation. The IARU credits his input with helping to promote amateur access to the 6-meter band, the use of which was approved on a secondary basis in many countries during World Radio Communication Conference 19. The IARU announcement also credited David with successful defense of the amateur HF bands at times when sharing or relocation was proposed for other purposes. In 2020, David was presented with the IARU Region 1 medal. There were no further details about his death. This is Jeremy Bucci for NJH.
The man who some hams call the most recognized QSL manager in the world has become a silent key. We hear about him from Cell MB, KB3TZD.
Devoted to chasing DX within a year of getting his ham radio license in 1956, Joseph Arcure, W3HNK, soon established a niche for himself as a QSL manager for hundreds of those DX stations. According to his obituary on the DX News website, Joe was so devoted to helping manage and send QSL mailings that he soon became, quote, the most recognized QSL manager in the world. He never refused a request from any ham seeking his QSL services and often funded some of the mailings himself. Many praised him for the human touch he brought to every task, a quality that made many cherish the QSL cards they received. Joe became a silent key on Sunday, the 20th of July. According to his obituary, he confirmed 337 current DXCC countries as an operator. Over the years, he also became an enthusiastic DXpeditioner himself. In 1979, Joe was inducted into the CQ-DX Hall of Fame. The obituary noted that, quote, his legacy endures in every confirmation, every new contact, and every operator inspired by his example. Joe was 91. This is Cell MB, KB3TZD.
The reason this next story has a happy ending is because everyone did everything right. The search and rescue team, the ham radio operators, and, perhaps most importantly, the mother and son in need of rescue in a remote section of the National Forest in California. Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB, takes us there.
The GPS was to have safely guided a mother to a campground with her 9-year-old son on July 11th. Instead, it mapped a route that left their cars stuck in the rugged terrain after they lost their GPS signal. Hours later, they were reported missing to the Calaveras County Sheriff's Office by a caller who had the mother's travel agenda and said the family had failed to check in as they had planned. A search and rescue team was dispatched in 4-wheel drive vehicles to the area the next day, where campers reported that they had seen the family sedan. The team soon discovered handwritten notes posted by the mother at nearby locations, indicating that the vehicle was stuck and they were stranded. The boy, meanwhile, periodically blew a whistle in 3 short bursts, an audible, universal distress call. Mother and son were found safe at their car, only a mile or so away from where the notes were posted. Because of the thick canopy of Stanislaus National Forest, the rescue team could not use cell service or the usual radio frequencies to update the command post. One team member, a licensed ham, used his amateur radio to hit the KA6GWY repeater in Placerville. It bears the call sign of Frank Yost, a retired El Dorado County communications supervisor who was monitoring the frequency at the time on 146.805 megahertz. He passed the call along to emergency dispatch, and the message was quickly relayed to Calaveras County. Lieutenant Greg Stark, one of the search and rescue coordinators, told Newsline everyone, including mother and son, did everything right. He said that the team was able to safely transport mother and son, extricate the car, and let the command post know that no helicopters or additional backup resources were needed. He said that one backup resource proved invaluable: ham radio. It also provided some inspiration. The lieutenant told Newsline, quote, "It enhanced our communication ability, and now it has spurred some of our other team members to look at getting their license." End quote. This is Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB.
It's time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the N5OZG repeater in New Orleans, Louisiana, on Sundays at 8 p.m. The questions on the basic level exam for hams in Canada have changed. Andy Morrison, K9AWM, has more details.
A team of volunteers from provinces throughout Canada is developing a new bank of questions for the Advanced Amateur Radio Certificate, according to the Radio Amateurs of Canada website. Many members of this team completed the new question pool for the basic level certificate earlier this year, and it was released in January by Innovation, Science, and Economic Development Canada. The questions took effect for basic examinations starting on the 15th of July, providing the first major update for that level of examination since 2013. Writing on the RAC website, Dave Goodwin, Victor Echo 3 Kilo Golf, the RAC's Regulatory Affairs Officer, said the 984 questions were developed by a committee of 20 instructors and accredited examiners, many of whom are now working on the advanced level questions. Those questions are expected to become available in 2026. This is Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
Now, here's an idea we'd like to float in your direction. British Inland Waterways on the air. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, tells us what's involved.
If you use the lakes, canals, or other waterways in Great Britain almost as much as you use your radio, now is the time to combine the two activities. Registration has begun for British Inland Waterways on the air, which takes place during the August bank holiday weekend. The organisers are encouraging early registration, hoping that radio operators will identify the days and on what modes they are operating. The event takes place on Saturday the 23rd of August to bank holiday Monday the 25th. You can operate on or near the various waterways throughout the UK. Primary bands will be 2 meters and 40 meters. If you'd like to register or see who is already on board for the weekend, visit the website in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
In the world of DX, a team of hams from the UK will be on the air as GM0FRT/P from the Shetland Islands, IOTA number EU012, until the 28th of July and will be active in the IOTA contest. Outside of the contest, they will be using CW and single sideband on 30, 17, and 12 meters, as well as FT8 on 6 and 4 meters. QSL via Logbook of the World. Members of the Korean Amateur Radio League's HQ station, 6K OMF in Jeongbuk, are marking the 80th anniversary of liberation of Korea from Japanese rule by operating as HL80V from August 1st through to the end of the month. See QRZ.com for details. In Malaysia, members of the Terengganu DX Aries Group in West Malaysia are celebrating the 68th anniversary of independence from British rule by operating from the 1st of August through to the 30th of September using the call sign 9M1957M on CW, single sideband and FT8 modes on 80 through 10 meters. QSL direct to 9M2 RDX. Steve, ZL2KE, will be active again as E51KEE from Rarotonga, IOTA number OC013 in the South Cook Islands from the 3rd through to the 18th of August. Steve will be using CW, some single sideband on 40, 30, 20, 17, 15, 12, and 10 meters. QSL via IK2DUW direct. See QRZ.com for additional details. We also remind listeners that amateurs around the world will be on the air for International Lighthouse Lightship Weekend on August 16th through to the 17th. More than 250 lighthouse entries will be active in more than 40 countries. For a list of registered lighthouses, see the link in the text version of this week's newscast at arnewsline.org. Our final story is about both a first and a last. The last summit in the Soda DL Association to be activated is a first for a very determined ham in Germany. We hear about him from Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
Despite 18 years as a SOTA activator that have won him at least 2 high-ranking awards for operating in the German Alps, Diani's DD1LG had some unfinished business. This month, it stood before him, all 2,430 meters of it above sea level. the Tiefka Spitze, the single summit in the SOTA DL Association that had gone unactivated in the 20 years since SOTA DL was established in Germany. His harrowing mountain ascent on July 18th was punctuated by intense rockfall. Not unexpected, but nonetheless terrifying. As he wrote in his blog, he was compelled to ask, quote, "Why do I keep doing this to myself?" End quote. Still, he made it to the summit, where he soon logged his first QSO with his good friend Mario DJ2MX. Then came the pile-ups. Finally, he went QRT after one more QSO. Another close friend, Andy DL2DVE. With 66 in his log, he had transformed that lonely, daunting rocky outpost into a shared space among friends. Diani's, as solar activator, had turned a personal challenge into a triumph for himself and the DL Association. As he wrote in his blog, quote, "I let my feelings run free," end quote. This is Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
A good QSO can be like poetry. Sometimes. So, why not write a haiku about amateur radio and join the Newsline Haiku Challenge? It's as easy as writing a QSL card. We can only accept the correct haiku format, however. That is, a 3-line verse with 5 syllables in the first line, 7 in the second, and 5 in the third. Submit your work on our website at arnewsline.org. Each week's winner gets a shout-out on the website where everyone can find the winning haiku. With thanks to Amateur News Daily, the ARRL, Cord Cutters News, David Behar, K7DB, DX World, 425 DX Bulletin, the FCC, the IARU, International Lighthouse Lightship Weekend, Lieutenant Greg Stark, Calaveras County Search and Rescue, Nunsfield House Amateur Radio Group, QRZ.com, Radio World, Radio Amateurs of Canada, Shortwaveradio.de, the Soda Reflector, Wireless Institute of Australia, WRTC 2026, Zero Retries Newsletter, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operations. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Paul Brown, WD9GCO in Valparaiso, Indiana, saying 73. As always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2025. Amateur Radio Newsline retains ownership of its material even when retransmitted elsewhere. All rights are reserved.
Okay, it's W3OC. That concludes this week's Newsline transmission. Okay, I can definitely hear the ducting going on right now. Okay, at this time I'll take some late check-ins. Anyone else like to check out done so, call now. I'm going to close the net out this hour and say thank you for everybody who did take the time to check in with us this evening or just listen. I have 17 check-ins on the check-in list. Thank you all for taking the time to be with us this evening. Or if you just listened, that's okay too. This is an information net. Don't forget our other nets, Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. on this repeater system. Thursday nights on 28460 at 8 on 10 meters at 8 o'clock. With that, I'm going to turn the repeater back to Janet Massachusetts, W3OC, also known as W3ON. Good night.